HOCD Q&A. I meant to film this video probably a month ago and never got around to it. So here I am. I apologize for that. It has been, why does that keep tilting? It has been a month, trust me, and my setup, basically, it's a long story. Anyways, first question, what is your opinion on seeking reassurance? No. My opinion is no, because I sound like a teacher right now, but I have been lenient on this in the past. By past, I mean like a week ago. I was just like letting people DM me and just ask for reassurance, and I'd be like, okay. And now it's just like, I have to really ask myself, what is my true intention for this YouTube channel? My true intention is to provide healing for people of all mental illnesses, not even mental illness, just people in general, whether you have a mental illness or not. My goal is to provide healing. And I have to ask myself, every time I respond to an email, every time I respond to a DM, is this going to contribute to that person's healing? And if my response is not, I just have to be like, I'm sorry, that is seeking reassurance, and that's not going to contribute to your healing as a whole. So, or your recovery for that matter, I should say. So that's kind of what I've been doing lately, to just combat the people who are, and I get it, I mean, it's addicting, you know? Especially when it's super bad and you just can't take your mind off of it, and yeah, so I get why people ask for reassurance, but my opinion is absolutely not. No. Second question, I used to get anxious now, and I don't. Does this mean XYZ? I had like 5 people ask this. Well, that is the backdoor spike, and I am going to put a link that explains it. I don't really want to do a video on it, to be honest with you guys, because it's kind of, I don't know, I just don't feel like I have enough to say about that. So the backdoor spike is when you get anxious over not being anxious, and I mean, that, I don't know if that would be a sign of like, you're getting better, and like now this is like, I would say it is, like when most people get better, they get that point where, oh my god, I'm anxious because I don't feel anxious, and then they relapse. So my advice to you, because this is how OCD gets you, in this like weak moment where you're, wondering why you're not feeling the anxiety you did, keep pushing, and do not let the backdoor spike get you. So I'll put an article down below on that. How would a bi person go about HOCD? How would a bi person go about HOCD? Well, the same exact way. They would either fear that they were straight, or they would fear that they were gay. I don't know. I haven't met a lot of bi people with HOCD, but that would be my guess. They would just have the same obsessions and same panic and same symptoms, just, different fear. Do you think OCD, any subtype, could go away if we choose to ignore it every time it comes up? Well, if you guys haven't figured out, I'm really big on just integrating and feeling emotion. I don't think I've actually even spoke on this before, but I am now. And the best way to live life in general is to feel every single emotion that comes up, whether it's anger, whether it's anxiety, whether it's sadness, even happiness. You'd be surprised. Some people can suppress happiness. I was definitely one of those people for a while, I think, which is so, I don't know, that's another video, but that's weird to me, to suppress happiness. Anyways, so I think what was the main catalyst for my healing was just the fact that I was willing to feel the sadness that came with it. Generally, I think that the generally think that the girls with HOCD are more sad about it, and the guys are just more frustrated, because that's what oh my god, can I talk? That's just what I've observed so far, and just the people that, like, talk to me about it, the guys are like, you know, they just, like, get so angry about it, and the girls are like, I cried last night because I can't imagine my life being with HOCD forever, and I'm like, yeah, relatable. I mean, you have no idea how many times I have cried over multiple themes of OCD. It has been bad, but, no, do not ignore it. Feel the anxiety, watch the thoughts go by, or just let the thought be there. Is the fifth question: what do you think people should be more aware of when they have intrusive thoughts? Okay, what I wrote down here, I'm looking at my notes, is you are more in control than you think. Now, what I've noticed, and I don't mean to call anyone out, okay, but what I've noticed, I'm calling myself out, actually, but what I've noticed with OCD sufferers is that you love to be in control, and you love to know things for certain, and you know, black and white thinkers. I'm a very, 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 very black and white thinker. I always have been. So it's a wonder I, you know, had so much trouble with OCD, but I think they should be more aware of, you can choose to not ruminate, you can choose to not look into it further, and you can choose to live the life you want, without OCD controlling you at every second. So, yeah, I hope that answered your question. When are people having intrusive thoughts and when are they ruminating? What is the difference? Well, piggybacking off of the last answer, I would say an intrusive thought is just a quick, oh, what if that happens? You know, the little OCD voice in our heads. Now, ruminating is when we go, oh, that's not supposed to be here, there, and, you know, we start to question it. Why is it there? What does it mean? This and that. When we start to try to figure it out, that is when we begin the rumination cycle, process, whatever you want to call it. That is when that begins, and, you know, that's when we could have said we can't control what thoughts go into our brain, right, our psyche or whatever, but we can control how we react to them. So rumination would be a reaction, and letting the thought be there would be more of a response. And I think people in general in life need to do a lot more responding instead of reacting. I'm talking about myself included. How and why thoughts feel real? Okay, well, I think I answered this in my Why Does HOCD Feel So Real video. I don't even remember that's so weird, I don't even remember what I talked about in that video. But, well, if it didn't feel real, it wouldn't be OCD and it wouldn't have a hole in the field. So it feels real because you've ruminated about it long enough, to the point where your perception is completely changed. And, so OCD has a way of warping people's perception, and that, I would say, is why it feels so real. It cannot warp you, but it can warp your perception of how you view yourself and your identity, or your perceived identity, I should say. Best way to have mindfulness. I'm gonna be honest, I didn't really practice much mindfulness in my, or maybe I did, but not in the traditional way of, like, okay, I'm gonna, like, sit here and, like, watch my thoughts float by, like they're like clouds. That, to me, just seemed very hokey, and it helped a lot of people. I'm not even going there. I'm not even gonna say it didn't help, because I know a lot of people who benefited from mindfulness, where they just kind of, you know, do those little exercises. But for me, it was more like just being self-aware of what triggered me and going towards those triggers instead of running away from them. And that is what I would consider mindfulness, is going towards your triggers, being aware of your triggers, and being aware of how much time and I think Ali Graymond spoke on that, how much time do you spend ruminating? Because that needs to decrease, like now. It does, it seriously does. because it's eating away at your life. Biggest challenge you face with HOCD. The biggest challenge I faced, and I think everybody with HOCD, their biggest challenge is letting go. It is. People with HOCD, people with mental illness in general, I should say, have a huge problem with prioritizing joy over their mental illness. And I think that is, it boils down to that. How badly do you want your life back? How badly do you want to live your life to the fullest? That's what you have to ask yourself. Healing HOCD takes a lot of drive, I think, and it takes a lot of saying no and setting boundaries with OCD. It takes a lot of, no, I'm not going to ruminate about that right now because I have groceries to put in the fridge. I have, just whatever task is at hand. I know it does a lot of interrupting. At least it did for me. Like, when I was doing my school, no, I have to do school. I'm not going to look into it further. I'm giving up. I'm actually giving up right now. You do not deserve my time. Okay? So, hopefully that answered your question. I think it did. Anyway, books. What books can you recommend for people suffering with OCD? To be honest with you, I didn't really even read a lot of books. I read Pure O by Chrissy Hodges. Definitely a good one to read. And I watched a lot of videos and I read a lot of articles on ERP and how to let go, like I just said, how to stop ruminating, stuff like that. And that pretty much did it for me. I didn't really have to read a lot of books, but if I find any books that I think would be good, and you mentioned also for people who can't afford therapy. I didn't go to therapy either. I am currently looking into that, but for HOCD, I did not go to therapy. I just practiced ERP on my own, and was really, really, really dedicated to it. Dedicated to my own happiness, I feel. What is the difference between false attraction and attraction? Well, attraction wouldn't cause panic, I would say, and false attraction obviously causes a lot of chaos and confusion, the 2 C's, right? In life, I think we should stay away from the 2 C's. I think we should stay away from anyone, any person that offers us chaos and confusion. I think we should stay away from any job situation that offers oh my god, I don't lost chaos and confusion. So that's the biggest difference. It's panic or no panic, basically. Not to reassure you, but yeah. And last one, if you ignore the thoughts, do beliefs eventually change too? I read this question, I was a little bit confused. Do you mean like if you let the thought, I think you said if I let the thought be there and focus on my breathing, will the conviction also change? So I don't know if you're asking, will like your fear come true if you just let the thought be there? The answer is no. But you have to be okay if it will. Or if it could. Not if it will. You have to be okay in the event that it could come true. And that's what accepting the uncertainty is all about. So I hope I answered all your questions. As always, if you have any more, just DM me or email me. And I'll see you in the next one.